What's up, guys? Today I want to show you guys about paint that is fading, aka delamination. Now let me show you something. This is what it looks like when paint is starting to fade away because the properties of the paint or clear start to break down. So what happens is, if it's not made of good quality, it breaks down and starts to break away from the paint and the car. Okay, so what generally causes this to happen, this breakdown of the clear and of the paint on the car, is that if it's made of poor materials because it's cheap, or the company that makes this clear or this paint doesn't put enough of one thing or the other so that it could withstand the test of time and the elements of outside, the sun, the snow, the cold, the hot, all of these things combined over time, if it's not made of good quality, will cause this to break down and eventually just break away and break down off of the car. So to fix this, there's two different ways. We could sand it and feather it out so that it comes off to the point where there's no more failure in the paint, or you could strip this down completely to the metal, which is probably the best way to do it, but is the most expensive way to do it and the most time-consuming way to do it. And depending on whether you're getting paid for that, you can either do it or not do it, because if you don't get paid to do it, then you gotta go with what you're paid to do, which in this case, the way we were paid to do this job was to feather this down, primer it, and paint it. So what I mean with feathering it down is I'm gonna remove all the clear that's failing. I'm gonna bring it down to a certain point where it's not failing anymore, and I'm gonna primer it. Once I primer this, I'm gonna let this dry, and then once it's dry, I'm gonna sand it and I'm gonna paint it. So that's basically it. And the sandpaper I'm gonna use is 320 sandpaper to feather this down, and then 400 to feather it back a little bit more to then primer it. Once the primer dries, I'm gonna be ready for paint. All right, so I'm gonna start getting this ready. I'm gonna pass this on to my colleague. He's gonna start sanding it down. Once he's done sanding it down and we tape it up, he's going into primer. Let's get to work. Okay, so what I'm going to be using to sand this is some 400 longboard paper. Here's the kind I use here in case you guys want to use this. We use some 400 longboard paper with this soft block. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to block this, basically like this, so all of this guy coat is removed. And once I'm done blocking it with this 400, my next step is going to be 600 DA paper with a soft pad to go over, because this is a metallic color. Metallic color always have to be finished with 600 grit paper. Okay, so after you block it out, I always use a little bit of guy coat. If you guys want, I got a video on that. Go check it out. It should be on my channel. And while you're there, if you're checking that out, why don't you subscribe, hit that like button if you like this video, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Make sure to do that. But let's get back to work. Guide coat after you block it, that way you can make sure that you remove all the 400 scratches and then DA. All right. After you're done sanding it with the 600 DA paper, go over with a Scotch-Brite, gray Scotch-Brite, and then you should be good for paint. Let's go. Okay, so I want to go over a couple things with you guys before we get into the painting process. And just to cover all the bases, I want to show you what we did here. So in the beginning of the video, you probably saw that this door had delamination and paint fading. So what I didn't show in the beginning of the video, because I never got a chance to start making this video when we first started the process, because I had to get the car in primer, was that the whole front end had the same delaminated paint, which was the paint was coming off, was fading. So this is what it looks like now after we primered it. So it's all in primer. So what I did was to get it ready for primer, just to let you guys know and cover all the bases, was that we hit the whole front end, which had the same paint fading as that back door and the door on the other side. This whole front end on the top of this fender, the whole hood had the same problem, and the top of this fender had the same paint that was fading. The clear, the paint, everything was delaminating, it was fading. So what we did was, to get it in primer, was we hit it with 180 grit DA paper to buzz it down and feather it. Then what we did was we hit it with 320 to take it up to the next step in sandpaper to primer it. We taped it up, we primered the whole front end. And then after that was when my boss came and told me that we were going to do the rest of the car, and we went into the other two doors that had the delamination that you guys saw. And now at this point is that I'm ready for paint. Okay, so now everything's all taped up, it's clean, and I'm ready for paint. Let's get to work and start painting this car. Okay, now I'm ready for paint. I got my paint in my gun, the car is all cleaned up, it's tacked off, and this is basically just like painting any other car. You just need to put 4 coats of base coat, 4 to 5 coats of base coat, and 2 coats of clear, and you're good. Now if you guys want to check out another video that I have that covers that, and if you're not too sure on how that works, I have some videos that cover how to base coat and how to clear coat, and I'll link them at the end of this video if you guys want to check those out too. Anyway, that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you liked this video. If this video was helpful, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you could be notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.